Welcome to Hoovie's Garage, the dumbest automotive channel in all of YouTube, and I am in Salt Lake City, Utah for the very first time, the home of mountains and Mormons and some other people you may know, but I'm here to get this truck, and it is a 2004 Dodge Ram Cummins 2500 four-wheel drive, and you wouldn't know by looking at it, but this thing has 994,000 miles. I bought it completely sight unseen. I just signed all the paperwork. I have never driven it. This isn't a cold start because they already put fresh fuel in it, but just the first look around of this thing, 994,000 miles. It looks spectacular. So the story on this thing is the previous owner, the original owner, owns a hot shot business, and this is for oil fields. He takes parts that are needed urgently out into the oil field, and that's why he's racked up tons and tons and tons of miles, 994,000 miles, which it is Carfax verified. There's like 200 service records on the Carfax, and apparently he's meticulous when it comes to his maintenance, and he likes this additive, I guess, an ILX additive, something like that, that he puts in with the diesel. I guess he saw it at a trade show, an engine running with the oil pan off for days and days, and decided, I'm going to use that in my engine. But wow, there's obviously a hole cut out for the gooseneck, spray-in bed liner. I mean, a little bit of rust here and there. You can see where all the Dodges get rust around the rear bed, but the frame looks nice. Water getting into the taillight, but not bad. This side a little bit rustier in the bed, but yeah, not bad. You would not think that this thing has 994,000 miles on it, but it does. So let's start it up. Like I said, this isn't a cold start, so here we go. Pops right over. No warning lights. It's set to trip right now. There's the main odo, 994,376 miles. Look how nice the interior is. I'm astounded. I am absolutely astounded. And it sounds really quiet too. This is nuts. Now, Salt Lake City, it's salt. They salt the roads here. Trucks should be very, very rusty. You can tell this person tried to mitigate the rust, but there is still some here on the lower door as well. But underneath and under the hood, it just looks so nice. Now I saw the cap rattling a little bit. It's an indication of blow-by, which we can see right now. There's no blow-by? There's no blow-by on this diesel engine with 994,000 miles on it. Okie dokie. Let's take a peek underneath here. A little bit of buildup, but otherwise dry. Towards the back here, it is a four-wheel drive, so transfer case. The transfer case and trans look a little wet, but not bad. And this thing was used to tow stuff too. That's why it has an aftermarket airbag here in the rear suspension. The gooseneck, as you saw, looks like it has an exhaust on it. So this wasn't gentle, this was work. This thing was used to work, hauling parts in the bed or in a trailer, 994,000 miles. And now I'm gonna drive it, well, 14 hours home. And back to Kansas, but first let's see if this thing can get around the block. I really have never driven this thing. All right, out we go. In a million-mile Cummins. This is unreal. Absolutely unreal. The suspension, you know, it feels like a truck, but it feels tight. The turbo's spooling up fine. It's shifting perfectly. It's tracking straight, stopping straight. This is unreal. I'm guessing this thing is chipped too because it has tons of power I can actually dive it into a turn as well. Holy crap. All right, now we're gonna enter the highway. Up we go. This shouldn't be possible. This thing drives like a brand new truck. It literally drives like a brand new truck with 994,000 miles. Now there's a huge debate when it comes to diesel trucks. Who builds them the best? Who lasts the longest? And well, here's an entry into that debate right here with this 2004 Ram. Still, Dodge certainly has its flaws in comparison to other truck makers, which this one seems to have none of, but I don't think any manufacturer nowadays could build a truck that lasts this long, and it's really not their fault. I'm gonna get a little highway miles down on this thing before I stop, and I'm just gonna assess everything over again and really give this truck a good look, but holy crap. Just absolutely incredible. Two other things I noticed while driving this thing. It has Motor Trend floor mats, which is kind of funny, and also it's showing 32 miles per gallon on the trip meter, which is, it seems impossible. If that's real, I should donate this truck to scientific research because it is such a freak, but we'll see. I filled up the tank, reset the trip meter, we'll see what the MPG is, but 994,000 miles. And diesel engines, they're known to last this long just from the properties of it. Invented in the 1890s by Rudolf Diesel, the fuel itself actually lubricates the engine, which is the reason why it helps the engine last longer. Anyway, unlike an internal combustion engine, the fuel is a detergent and it cleans out the cylinders. The compression stroke is actually what ignites a diesel engine. There's no spark plugs, the compression is enough to ignite it. And of course, there's the debate, like I said earlier, of the three engines, Duramax, Power Stroke, and Cummins. They all sound like condom brands or something inappropriate, but that's what they chose to name the engines. And well, I think these are the best. These inline engines are industrial purpose primarily, and then they go in these trucks, which are arguably the weakest of the three truck brands, but a fantastic engine. Nowadays, I don't think any diesel truck manufacturer could produce a truck that could go this kind of mileage with all the emissions and the complicated electronics, the crazy turbos. It's just not the same anymore. So you can make the argument all you want, but you know, this is kind of a thing of the past. But hopefully it's good for the trip home. This is going to be a long drive across the mountains and, well, obviously a lot of miles. Anyway. One hour in and the diesel is doing great. I've actually rerouted myself through Colorado to avoid some weather in Wyoming. That's a little bit further distance, but that's not a bad thing because we've got to get this thing to 1,000,000 miles as soon as possible. So there'll be some mountain passes here, maybe a little snow, hopefully not as bad as Wyoming. And I'll stop for the night up in the Rockies. There's beautiful scenery here. Views on views, you could say. Where have I heard that from? I'm stopping off in Vail, Colorado for the night, 450 miles with still plenty of fuel in the tank. I feel like I'm gonna wake up in the morning, this is all gonna be a dream. It just doesn't seem possible. It's just so impressive. Cold start, this real cold start. Hello, hello. You can do it. It leaves! It leaves! First fuel stop with 490 miles. I stopped a little early, so like over a quarter of a tank, because I realized I've never checked the oil on this thing. Something I may want to do with something with, I think I've said 994,000 miles, 994,000 times at this point, but here. All right, aren't you a long boy? Okay. Back in you go. And right in the middle of the safe zone. It's perfect. I think I've said that word a lot too. Now let's calculate fuel economy. So let's round up to 27 gallons. 490 miles divided by 27 is 18 miles per gallon. That's more like it. So the economy gauge, slightly optimistic. But it's really not bad. We've been climbing mountain passes and such. Looks like more snow, which speaking of, I have a hot shot challenge now. See if I can hot shot this snow back to Kansas before it melts. I guess I was expecting a little more drama with a truck with this kind of miles. 995,000 miles now. A new number, but really it was just another day at work for this thing, crossing the Rocky Mountains, crossing endless prairies. I mean, 1,000 miles is like 0.1% of this entire truck's life, and it was probably doing 1,000 miles a day in its prime. So should we really be surprised that this thing is completely drama-free? Not only that, but everything works in this truck. The air conditioning, the cruise control, all of the electronics, nothing is broken, which is really a testament to the previous longtime owner for keeping this thing up. I'm sure there was tons and tons of maintenance on this truck. There's no creaks, there's no rattles, it tracks straight, the tires are wearing evenly. It's just absolutely incredible. Now, it is leaking a little bit in a few different places, has developed an oil leak in the front. Not very bad though. I mean, 995,000 miles. I'm actually leaking a little bit myself after 1,000 miles and stopping and eating 2 Taco Bell bean burritos. So on that TMI, thank you so much for watching, and don't miss more Cummins content. Next, we're going to go to the Car Wizards and completely inspect this thing. And yes, this is Tyler Hoover's Million Mile Cummins. That doesn't sound right, does it? It's mine though.